The overwhelming majority of enslaved Africans taken to various parts of the world had gloomy fates. While some were able to position themselves to have a tolerable or decent existence, at least compared to other enslaved individuals, there existed an even smaller group that were lucky enough to have been adopted by royals of other nations, offering them a life of comfort. Today, I'm going to be talking about the lives of these enslaved Africans who were either taken care of by royal family members of foreign nations or became a part of the royal family themselves. What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and I'm back at it with another video of African history, culture, and worldview. And as always, if you want to support the Home Team, you can do so on patreon.com. I have some new rewards for you guys, so be sure to check that out. Also, go to Afrographics.com, a website where you can find unique illustrative infographics summarizing African history. All links to Patreon, Afrographics, and Home Team merchandise are in the description box below. To begin, this video is not at all a celebration of enslaved Africans being accepted and embraced by the nobility of other nations, but it's simply a video documenting the journey of a small group of Africans that managed to survive and thrive in the highest positions of human civilization. So let's begin. The first African on our list is Amoba Aina, also more popularly known as Sarah Forbes Barnetta. Amoba was a Yoruba princess who was later orphaned due to warfare in her region. The Fon people of Dahomey had been at war with their former Yoruba overlords for quite some time, and during the life of Princess Amoba, Dahomey gained the advantage over some Yoruba kingdoms. In 1848, the Dahomey army invaded her region. They proceeded to kill her parents and put the young princess in chains. The Dahomey ruler, King Gezo at the time, had Amoba as a slave in his court, but was apparently planning on executing her. The British during this time, in an attempt to repackage their image and position themselves, suggested the so-called legitimate trade, which was supposed to be an alternative to the chaos of the present slave trade of the time. This was largely motivated by Britain's desire to have more influence on local matters and expand imperial rule rather than any moral ambition. Regardless, before she was executed, Captain Frederick Forbes of the Royal Navy intervened, convincing King Gezo to instead give her to Queen Victoria of England. Captain Forbes then renamed her Sarah Forbes Barnetta after his naval ship. In England, Amoba met the Queen, who was impressed by her exceptional intelligence as she excelled in her education. Over time, Queen Victoria grew very fond of Amoba and raised her as her goddaughter, allowing her access to Windsor Castle regularly. The next African on our list is Sabak el-Sher. Sabak was a young Nubian from Kordofan, Sudan. Both of his parents died during a rebellion in Nubia, and he was then enslaved and taken to Cairo, Egypt, where he received a traditional Egyptian education. Sabak was brought to Germany in 1843 by Prince Albert of Prussia, who received him as a gift from the Egyptian viceroy, Mehmet Ali, while on his travels to North Africa. While in Germany, he was named Sabak el-Chur, which means good morning. Apparently, he was given this name because that was the only Arabic word the Prussian prince knew. Sabak fared pretty well under the tutelage of Prussian royalty, staying in the palace. He grew to embrace Prussian life and culture. He later went on to marry a local woman and had a son named Gustav, who became a respected soldier and an imperial bandmaster. Upon the death of the prince, Sabak was elevated to the position of administrator of the palace, where he served until his death. Our next African is Anton Wilhelm Amo. Anton is said to have come from the Nzema people of western Ghana. At a very young age, he was reportedly taken to Amsterdam by the Dutch West India Company. Upon his arrival in Amsterdam, he was given as a present to Anthony Ulrich, a member of the House of Wealth and the ruling prince at the time. Anton was then converted to Christianity and was later baptized in the palace chapel. He was treated as a royal family member and educated at the University of Helmstead. Anton apparently never forgot where he came from, and in adulthood, he added his original name, Amo, as an extension to his given name. Amo became a philosopher and went on to teach in Germany. Some sources proclaim that Amo became the first known African to have attended a European university. The next African on our list is Mamadi Make, also known as Angelo Soliman. Mamadi was believed to have come from a region in northeastern Nigeria or Cameroon. As a child, he was kidnapped and enslaved and was taken to France, where he was then sold into servitude to a wealthy Sicilian family in the Italian province of Messine. In Italy, he was baptized and educated and was given the name Angelo. He was later presented as a gift to Prince Lobkowitz, the Austrian governor of Sicily. Mamadi served as the prince's valet and traveling companion, where it's reported that Mamadi even saved the prince's life. Upon the death of Prince Lobkowitz, Mamadi ended up in the household of Joseph Wenzel I, the Prince of Liechtenstein in Vienna, where he became the chief servant and royal tutor for the heir. Being an intellect, Mamadi achieved prominence in that society and the Freemasonry order, whereby he was the Grand Master. Sadly, after his death, his body was exploited as a mummified Moor. And finally, the last African on our list is Abram Petrovich Ganable. Abram was believed to have been born somewhere in Central Africa near Lake Chad in the modern-day country of Cameroon. He was also believed to have been royalty himself, as some suggest he may have been a son of a Central African sultan. Abram was later enslaved and taken to Constantinople in Turkey, where he stayed for about a year under the service of Sultan Ahmed III. When a Russian ambassador visited Turkey, he also inquired about getting an African slave for Peter the Great's palace in Moscow. Abram was selected for this purpose and taken to Russia for a bribe price. In Russia, Abram was admired by the Tsar, as he noticed his intelligence and his great potential for military service. He adopted him into the royal household and was baptized. Abram would travel alongside Peter the Great's military campaigns and learned a lot. Unfortunately, after the death of Peter, Abram was exiled to Siberia upon the ascension of the new Russian ruler. During this time, he built a fortress and led several construction projects where he became a master engineer. Upon joining the French military, his exploits allowed him to rise to the rank of captain. Abram later rose to become a prominent member of the imperial court during the reign of Peter the Great's daughter, Elizabeth. His children became members of Russia's nobility, the most famous being Alexander Pushkin, a Russian poet, playwright, and novelist. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help out in its continued production, you can do so on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.